Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna add 300 grams of flour, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, half teaspoon of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of salt. We're gonna mix to combine. Get a good mixing in. And then we're gonna come and put it in the freezer. And then we're gonna do our next things. Along with, we're gonna also put in a pastry blender to get that cold as well. Okay, so next step you're gonna do is you're gonna put in 4.5 ounces of water. 4.5, yep. And then you're gonna put 1 ounce of vodka. Don't worry, vodka boils off, well, like the alcohol. And then you're gonna take a spoon, and then you're gonna stir it a little bit. Whew, that's strong. And then you're gonna put it in the freezer along with your flour mixture. And then on to the next step. So next, what you're gonna do is grab out a weight, and you're just gonna grab slices of lard. In total, you wanted 6.9 ounces. You're gonna put these in little slices to make them freeze faster. Because once we're done with this, we're gonna put it back in the freezer for about 5 minutes, and so the lard can harden up and it doesn't melt on us when we're incorporating it and everything. Because that would be bad. We don't get as flaky of a crust and everything. Slice. It's not last slice, ironically. Okay, and then there we go. After that, we're just gonna throw this puppy in the freezer along with everything else. Be back in 5 minutes. Yeah. Alright, after your 5 minutes, you're gonna take out your flour and your lard. And then you're gonna put your lard in 1 piece at a time. Make sure you fish out your pastry blender, you know, don't wanna be mixing that in. And then you're just gonna cut it up into strips, kind of like this. 1 piece at a time. Like this. Make sure you use your knife to kind of get the lard out of here, because you know, don't want it messing with your hands, you know what I mean? I'm gonna keep that there because it's full of lard now. And then once you're got all the lard in, you pretty much just kind of want to cut it up into the fat, cut it up into the flour, that kind of stuff, and then you're gonna mix it in. And so once we got it to pea-sized pizzas. Once you got the lard to pea-sized pieces, you're gonna scrape all the excess out of your pastry blender, whatever you want to call it. Put that aside, and you're gonna come over and grab your water vodka mixture. And then what you're gonna do is you kind of take spoonfuls, and then you're gonna slowly add into wet spots. Okay, so once you're finishing up your vodka mixture, make sure you're putting it spoonfuls at a time. I know I put more than 1 spoonful on the start, my bad. Kind of flustered there, you know. Make sure you incorporate it, put it in the dry spots, kind of incorporate, make sure you're not over moisturizing some parts and under moisturizing other parts. And make sure you use all of the vodka mixture, because you're gonna, you know, want it to be that kind of moist. So you're just gonna finish this up. I'm just gonna, okay, done. give it one last stir. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna pour it onto 2 pieces of saran wrap overlapped a little bit. Okay. And then we're gonna use these sides of the saran wrap to kind of fold it and press it in a little bit. It's gonna be crumbly, it's not gonna look like it's gonna come in, but once you put it overnight, it's gonna become a lot better. Okay, so make sure you're pressing it together, kind of, it's a dough, don't have to worry about it. Take this side. And then our last one is we're gonna take this side, kind of bring it over for the final fold. And then we're gonna wrap these sides up. Kind of try and get it right like that. Make sure everything's in one spot. It's pretty sticky if you get it on your hands. Just try and move it, and then press it together when you're putting the saran wrap on. And then we're gonna place it in the fridge overnight or up to 2 days. Dough's gonna do its magic. First thing you're gonna do when you're making the pie, this is the next day obviously, is you're gonna add 1 cup of sugar, and then you're gonna add 1/3 cup of flour, and you're gonna mix with a fork, kind of get it all combined and everything. And then you're gonna take your 2 beaten eggs, make sure you're not making messes. I'm gonna make a mess. And then you're also gonna add in your sour cream. 1/2 cup of sour cream. Make sure you get all of it, you know. You want your pie to be the best as possible, so you want to follow the instructions. And then you're just gonna mix it up. You might not seem to want to come together, but as you mix, it's gonna come together. Also add your salt. That's the last thing you want to add in. Just give it a good mix. Alright. There you go. Alright, first thing you're going to do is you're going to put your 1/2 cup of flour. Whack the bowl in there because you're a badass. Put the other 1/2 cup of sugar in there. And then you're going to have your butter sliced up into pieces. And then you're just going to drop it in. And then you're going to do what you did last time. And then you're going to cut up all the butter. And incorporating the sugar and flour at the same time. Okay, once you got your butter up into pea-sized pieces, you scrape off your thing, and then you're gonna go put this aside, and then we're gonna start up with the crust.
One.
Right. First thing you want to do, once you got that all done, you want to flour your board liberally, because this is a sticky dough, as what was happening last time. So we're going to take our dough out of the fridge. I already put half of it back, because, you know, only want to pull out as much as you need, because this dough will get bad. So just throw the saran wrap away, or not. And then we're just going to roll it out. So the goal of this is to kind of make it into a circle that is going to fit the size of the pan and be around 2 inches out, so you have enough room for it to go into the pan. Okay, once you got that all rolled out, you want to make sure you take your pie tin and you want to make sure it's about 2 inches bigger on all sides, so it can go in and you won't have any problems. Quick sneak this over here. And what you're going to want to do fold the dough in half, fold the dough in quarters, make your pie tin, make sure it's sticking, make sure it's not sticking. If you do have any sticks, it's okay. I grab like a cutter and then you can fix it. Unfold it out into there. And then you want to pick it up and kind of lightly tap it into the edges, making sure you're not going to tear the dough at all. And you don't want to cut the dough yet. Make sure we got it all in. Well, good. If the dough tears in any place, you can just patch it up. It's fine. So we're gonna put our 3 cups of blueberries in there. I use frozen because they're better. Frozen rules. Wow, my hands are red now. And then we're gonna put our custard that we put aside all over it. Make sure we spread it. Well, you can't really spread it once you put it on. Make sure you kind of pour it in all places so you don't have some dry parts and some extra wet parts or whatever. Okay. Once we get that on, you're gonna want to put the strudel on. This time, you don't want to put all of it on because it makes way too much. So you're just gonna want to lightly dust it and pretty much cover the pie. And okay, go. Okay, so next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna want to take the crust. Well, you're gonna want to take the dough, and you're gonna cut all around. Make sure you make sawing motions, otherwise the dough can tear. I've had that happen before, and it's not pretty. So you're just gonna go all the way around, straight up and down on here, just cutting off. You want to do this after you put the filling in case you didn't fully press it all the way down, and then the filling presses it down for you. Okay, for the decorated edges, which is one of the principles of design that I'm covering over here, is we're going to take this tiny old spoon, put a little bit of flour on it so it doesn't stick, and then we're going to press down right here, and then here, and then we're going to go around the pie doing that. And so you want to do it all around the pie. You want to dig into the pie crust just a tiny bit. Just make sure you don't cut it off. If at any point it starts sticking, dip your spoon in some more flour, because you don't have enough flour on the spoon. Just decorate. This turns out really beautiful, and I really like it. Okay, we're just about to finish up. Ironically, it doesn't line up. Okay, once we're done with that, throw your spoon aside because you're glad to be done. And then we're gonna throw this thing in a preheated oven at 350 degrees for 70 minutes. Hour and 10 minutes if you would like to be exact. Alright, and once your pie's done, I'm gonna woo! That was hot. Pull it out. Let it cool for a good amount of time. You're gonna leave it in the pie tin and serve it like that.